I bragged, I think, at some point in the last show about this, but I don't have a soft opening for this show. Anything that's on your mind, Amy Krieger, that you'd like to talk about?
You really should warn me before you do that.
Why do that? Then it's just this lovely whatever comes off the top of your head.
No, because I've been thinking about probably two things for the last 24 hours.
Sandwiches and sandwiches.
She tried a sandwich yesterday.
I did. I didn't actually like it. Epic Universe, because we were just there and I know we've been talking about it, but I can't stop thinking about it. I bought myself a stuffed Toothless, and for the last 2 hours, I just carried him around and hugged him the whole rest of the night.
And the second thing?
Pasta salad. Because there is a full of pasta salad in the fridge that I've been thinking about, and I'm so hungry.
Well, there you go, folks. The inside of Amy Krieger's mind, dragons, Epic Universe.
Pasta salad.
And pasta salad.
I love it.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I am your host, Paul Krieger, joined by pasta salad lover, Amy Krieger. We've got John Scary, Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
The one, the only Derek DeBoer.
Hey now, baby dragons.
Oh my God. Is he going to
sorry,
eat them?
I went back to him before you, and I thought I
you're
learned
always
my lesson.
messing us up. I never know what's going to happen, and never feels I'm under the bus.
We really never know, but Jeff Haslam's here as well.
Can I say that I like Jeff Haslam's marlin shirt or swordfish, whatever you call
Swordfish, I think, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
you can get this at Kohl's for $7.99.
them. Wow.
And it's probably a better quality than all the $70 Roosevelts we've been buying.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I love
And
a Kohl's
another
receipt.
sponsor we're never going to get.
I love a Kohl's receipt too, because it's like you spent $7.99, but you saved $339.
And you get to come back next week with a Kohl's cash and spend another $50 because then you'll save 10.
That's what we should do at resale market, Derek. Kohl's cash, but call it like Derek bucks.
Derek dollars.
Derek dollars, yeah. That makes
Gotta
more sense.
alliterate.
Yeah, alliteration is the way to go. Well, welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are ready for a third show of the night show, because if anyone knows how we record these, we record 3 back-to-back, and normally the third is the wackiest and the funnest. And we have a doozy of a topic tonight, because right before we started, Panda said that he could talk about this for 7 hours, and I didn't tell the team yet, but that's exactly how long this show is going to be, 7 hours. So this topic came to me just driving down the road the other day, but a conversation that has come up time and time again is what's going to happen, once Bob Iger ends his CEO. We know that there are some other people in Disney that are, being considered for that role. Josh D'Amaro, one of those people, the person that is currently running Parks and Experiences. So, I would say that he would be a front runner, but you really don't know. There's many different candidates depending on what section of the company you're looking at. And I know that they're also looking at some external candidates as well. But the question that I pose to this entire group is, if you were the next CEO of the Walt Disney Company, what would you do? What would you change, and why? And I'm really excited to see what some of these people has come up with. I think Amy is going to say that she wants more pasta salad in the parks.
Well, if this show is 7 hours, I'm going to go get my bowl.
If you would just sit here and eat pasta salad out of a bowl the whole show, I feel like views would increase.
The bowl is like this big.
It could be like, what is it, ASMR? Well, it could just be Amy eating pasta salad.
That is special Patreon content right there. 45 minutes of Amy petting a dragon eating pasta salad. Amazing. Worth every
put
penny.
it on slow-mo.
Don't even joke. It would be popular.
we can start our own ASMR series. Derek just changing his shirt over and over again. Amy eating pasta salad.
On that note, I always feel like I find the perfect point in our conversation to inject this. But if you love our DVC show and our DVC fan content, please show some love for our sponsors at the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. Monera Financial, who will help in financing that DVC resale contract purchase. And the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points, or rent out your own points. And for that exclusive ASMR content, patreon.com/DVC fan. We love you, Patreon supporters, so much. And you get the silly side of us every single week.
What's sad is you started talking about our sponsors, and Derek was doing whatever he was doing with his hand movements, but I almost went into our that we haven't done for like a year. I'm so tired that just was automatically muscle memory.
I thought the same thing.
Dude, you could go back, and when Paul says it, you could slow down the video and see me do it. I literally go like this. Very small.
I saw it.
I did it.
Normally,
Totally.
we told him to tilt his camera down a little bit lower so that we saw less ceiling tonight. But normally he does it every show, actually, underneath the desk. He can't stop himself.
Oh,
all right. Well,
I think the
Don't
audience.
start with me.
I think the audience just decided that none of us should be the CEO of the Walt Disney Company
well,
after just hearing us talk.
yeah. If you're still listening after this many shows, you realized that long ago, I'm pretty sure. But I'm excited to actually start this conversation with Panda, since he did say that he could talk about this for so long. And Panda, what we're going to do tonight is just essentially go around the room and, you can give us one or two different things that you might change or do differently as the next CEO.
I'm going to give you one that I think nobody else picked first, so that I'll leave it open in case, because I have a feeling Jeff and I probably have a few of the same. But my thing is, I would use. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just said, why not me? Why are you and Jeff more aligned? If
I don't
you
know,
watched the previous show, you and I were
That's
aligned
true.
on every
That's true.
single thing, and now all of a sudden you and Jeff are best
No.
buds. Okay.
I have a feeling. No, because I think the things you're going to pick are going to be like things I haven't touched. I think. So
Okay.
I think I would stop being scared of using my villains. I am still very disappointed that the Voodoo Man is not in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I can't understand what they're scared of with voodoo. It's problematic. But the Wicked Queen in Fantasmic is calling all the forces of evil in her cauldron. Last I checked, voodoo is magic. That's magic. Just stop it. It's okay to have conflict. You're building a villain's land. We're talking about getting rid of scary things and, you can't have the voodoo. I don't get it. I don't know where the line is, so I would not be scared to use my own villains. It's a creative entertainment company, whether it be voodoo, magic, evil. We need conflict. Bring on the villains. And don't tell me they're misunderstood. They're evil. They're bad. Just stop being misunderstood.
Not until you said that did I really think about it, too. Like, it is very hit or miss. Why are the Sanderson sisters okay? Why put them on stage and do a whole show that involves a cauldron and voodoo, but not?
It makes zero sense.
Well, and I'll take it a step further. There's been rumors floating around all year that they're going to change the stretching room scene at Haunted Mansion because, all the reasons that they've listed, which make no sense to me whatsoever. But
at all.
Has anybody got this? They've released the soundtrack for the new Villain show. It's out there. You can listen to it. They released it early on purpose. It gives me no hope for that show at all. And I was going in open-minded. This thing is going to be cheesy and ridiculous and not at all spooky and scary, which is what the villain should be.
I agree.
Well, I won't go to me for this, but this is exactly the line of thinking that I would have as the next CEO. And I said this to this group, I think a little bit, or I sent this as a text message to one of you, but the first thing I would do is go in and clean house. And that means that you're going to fire probably a large portion of whatever in the middle of this company is slowing down projects, and whatever in the middle of this company is getting 300 lawyers involved to be concerned as to whether or not you hurt a feeler of someone. People's feelings are going to get hurt no matter what you do, whether you bring villains in or you don't, whether you make a ride too extreme or you don't. But this is where a company like Universal is able to build something so quickly, and a company like Disney needs 17 layers just to make a social media post. I know that for a fact. I know that a social media post takes 6 months of pre-approval process. That just shouldn't happen. Yes, there should be a couple lines of approvals, and yes, people should proofread some stuff and double check things. I mean, I work in a business and we do that. That makes sense. But there's just too much going on that slows down the progress, and that you get, I always use the phrase, too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah. And you just need to clean house and kind of fix that up.
Quickly touching on too what Jeff just said about them removing the hanging man in the stretching room. People will argue, they're talking about suicide. Let me tell you, as a child, I had no idea when he said, "There's always my way." I thought he meant the window at the top. I did not think he meant suicide until I was maybe 18, and I went, "Oh, okay." It didn't hurt or offend. I don't think anybody is offended by it. I don't know why any of their energy is going to removing nostalgic things that they see are problematic. I think they're creating problems where there just is none. Not for everything, but for a few of these things.
Well, and Pat and I actually had this conversation on the phone the other day after his experience at Epic, which was, he's talked to some folks that Universal can get away with building an entire theme park in 4 years because of this very thing that Paul's talking about. The red tape just is non-existent there. They're throwing so much money at that park to ensure that it's success, where Disney's like, well, we got to take the lawsuits into consideration. We're going to get sued because, we have to change the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's been the same since 1964. We want the redhead because we're in this new culture now, and one person got pissed off and got offended. I agree 100% with Paul. Kill all the lawyers and kill them tonight, to quote Warren Zevon.
I don't think I said that.
We just need Disney to be what Disney can be and let everybody else get out of the way.
It's also because they don't even believe their own BS. If they change it where the women are chasing the men, in the Pirates of the Caribbean, the song hasn't changed. You listen to the words of that song. Come on. If anything's problematic, we should change the song. But they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to where you draw the line. We want the redheads problematic, but we're shooting guns at each other while we're drunk on rum. That seems to be fine. We can't have anybody hanging in the stretching room, but once you walk through the doors, everybody's dead anyway. Like, come on.
It's a slippery slope. Exactly.
Well, and let's we do this comparison too much, and people call us on it, but there's no better comparison to make. The risk of being sued, to Jeff's point earlier, that is something that Disney is concerned about. And when you look at these two companies side by side, I just randomly Googled this, but in 2024, Comcast reported revenue of $121.93 billion. Disney reported revenue of $89.2 billion. If there's a company that has more to lose, it's Comcast. Yeah. And yet they're just basically saying, this is that side pet project for them that is making them a ton of money. And they're just kind of like, keep making the money. Keep making the money. We're going to be over here doing our NBC thing, making movies, doing our things with Universal, all that stuff. But theme parks, do whatever you want. Gas pedal down. Let's go. And that's
the cost of doing business.
Yeah. And the point too, to kind of touch on, because I've heard people always complain like, oh, the Imagineers today, they don't have it. They're not good or blah, blah, blah. It's not the Imagineers. The Imagineers are coming up with probably better ideas than we've ever seen or even heard before or could ever possibly dream of. But the point is, it's just like everything that you guys just said. They bring the idea, then there's a meeting about it. Then that awesome idea becomes this. Then 6 more meetings, that awesome idea becomes this, then this, then this. So by the time it hits the public, people go, God, the Imagineers, they're not like what they used to be back in like the good old days. The Imagineers, I'm sure, haven't changed. I'm sure with technology, they've come up with the best ideas possible. But the point is, like you guys said, they're being stifled, and they're being stifled by being scared, and they're being stifled by lawyers and everything else. So it's not the Imagineers. It's not. But if you look at what they're able to do, again, use the E word over at Epic. When you walk through there, there's a reason that it feels like, oh my God, this is some of the most insanely themed, because they let them loose. They let them loose and come up with ideas and go, are you sure this ride won't scare the kids too much? They're like, I don't care. I hope it scares them more. I hope these kids have to go into therapy after they come up for the racers and race around. Well, is it scarier than Velocicoaster? Oh, we'll make it scarier and we'll put them side by side. Like, they don't care. They're not worried about that. Whereas it's always that fine line. Like you said, Panda, it's here's a show about villains. People have been dying. People love the villain stuff. But my God, I swear it's going to be awful. And I'm so afraid that I don't even want to see it because it's going to be spooky, but not too spooky, because you don't want people having to leave the theater because the loud noise scares the or this is
the villains are misunderstood, and you have to vote on who's treated most unfairly.
Oh, God.
That's the theme of the
So
show.
they're not really villains. That is the show.
That's legit the theme of the show.
That is the legit thing is unfairly ever after. Who was treated most unfairly, and there's 3 villains that can win at the end.
It's kind of like the Cruella storyline from the latest Cruella movie with Emma Stone. It's showing the villains from a different point of view.
But Fantasmic, all the forces of evil, I call, she says. I'm surprised they're not freaking out over that. I'm wondering how long that's going to last.
And everybody knows that Fantastic's my favorite show, but that's my biggest complaint about that show is everything except that villain section is rafts and stage show and characters. And then when it comes to the villains, we're only going to show the cartoons on the spray on the projection screen. We're not going to put anybody but the evil Queen of Maleficent on there. Don't get me started.
Hey, there's a big snake, and that scares the bejesus out of me. So, I don't know what you're talking about.
Those eyeballs.
I'm really curious to see what Amy Krieger pasta salad will change about Disney.
You guys have the deepest thoughts.
That's putting it lightly.
I'm not on that level. I want Animal Kingdom to be open later because it's so pretty at night.
Perfect.
I just saw an article about that today. Isn't Animal Kingdom opening later? I just saw it today.
If it is, it's news to me.
I'm going to check.
That's because Amy Krieger said it.
I spoke it into
I think you're
existence.
already the CEO. Yes.
Keep that. I love it.
That's so great.
Perfect.
That's all I
Jeff,
got.
take us back down into the dungeon.
Oh, but I have so many to choose from. I really
Very
did my
quickly,
homework
Disney's
as I was told to.
Animal Kingdom to host extended evening hours in July 2025.
Does it say around the time frame of the hours? Because it closes at 6.
I think it's going to be like 9. I'll check it again later.
All right.
I don't want to interrupt Jeff anymore.
All right, we'll go with this one. I would like to introduce, as CEO of Disney, the first ever Disney One card, the Disney One Rewards card.
Oh.
For every $4 you spend at Disney, you get $1 back in a gift card. It's just kind of like Costco, you know. At the end of your year of Costco membership, you get that gift certificate that you can take and put towards your toilet paper. I think Disney is missing a huge opportunity, and it kind of goes back to what we talked about with the Disney bubble and keeping the money in Disney and not letting people go and spend money outside of Disney. If you gave a rewards program that resulted in a gift card, Disney has lost no money because you're going to spend that gift card back at Disney. But it's giving you that sense of, hey, I got $200 in gift card because I spent $25,000 on Disney cruises this year. It gives you.
Don't they have that?
They do not.
The Disney Visa Rewards.
I'm not talking about a Disney Visa. I'm talking about a rewards program, just like Marriott has, like Hilton has. Not a credit card, but an actual rewards program that might cost $50 a year. That every dollar that you spend, whether it's Disney Plus, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, Disney Resorts, Disney.com, Disney whatever, Hulu, anything that you spend at Disney, you get a little kickback in a gift card at the end of the year so that you can
Like a
spend
loyalty.
it more.
Yeah.
Loyalty program.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what's crazy is that I love that idea. And it's funny that you brought up Costco because I get on like YouTube binge kicks, and the recent Amy's laughing because she knows, because she boops on her phone and then randomly looks up at the TV to see what nonsense I've decided to watch tonight on YouTube. But the recent theme has been Costco and kind of just the inner workings of Costco.
This is why I talk about him like he's old. Do you see it now?
It's not always just a random documentary or something
It's
like
a
that.
lot of them.
Like right now, it's like The Last of Us. I'm watching that too.
Or
Like,
how
that's-
bridges are built.
The B1M, the
how to
B1M
fillet a
YouTube
fish.
channel. There's a reason why they have so many millions of followers. It's interesting. What about fish? What did I do?
Just like cooking things.
Oh, I do like
watch a
cooking.
lot of cooking
yeah.
things.
Cooking with Babbage. Yeah, he's good too.
I will tell
What
you
was I
that,
gonna
like,
say?
for example,
I don't-
with Best Buy used to have an excellent rewards program, and they had 3 different levels. And if you paid for the top level, I think it was like $100 a year, you got like quadruple points back on every purchase, which more than paid for the membership. But it also made me go, well, I need to buy a new computer to monitor. I can go to Walmart, I can go to Target, I can go to Amazon. But if I go to Best Buy,
Yeah.
I'm going to get some money back. So I'm going to go to Best Buy every time. It's the same principle. And I just don't understand why Disney hasn't done something.
Yeah, the Costco analogy that this rings a bell with is that Costco historically over the years has made their Kirkland signature brand, which basically competes with large companies. So if we talk about toilet paper, you have Kirkland signature competing against, Charmin or Angel Soft or whatever big company it is. What's funny is that normally they pick one of those companies, and one of those companies is making the Kirkland signature product. And the other thing that Costco does is that they don't go over, I think it's like 15% margin on most of these products that they bring in as their house brand. So they're all about higher volume, lower margins. And that is a direct kick in the face of, I think, 99% of corporate America that you see out there. And I agree with you, Jeff. I think that would be an amazing way to go. But you see what Disney's doing. We've seen the writing on the wall now for 5 years or more, where it's like raise the prices, increase the margin, less people, versus going kind of that volume route and going that volume approach. So,
Well, yeah, and it's just such a disconnect because you look at even something as simple as, all right, well, I'm coming into town for a week, but I don't want to blow my DVC points on a night where I'm not showing up till midnight because I had a late flight. I can grab a room at the Best Western, the Stop and Rob, just outside
waiting
the
for that.
spring, or I can spend a couple $100 and stay at All Stars, knowing that I'm going to get a little money back for that stay. Or I'm going to, I could hit as a local even. This is where they're really missing the opportunity because all of us here are local now. I don't eat in the parks near as much as I used to. I stop at Chick-fil-A on the way, or I stop at Jersey Mike's or whatever. If I knew I was getting a couple bucks back on my Ronto roaster, I'd probably just wait and go. Target gives 5% off every gift card that you buy with the Target Red Card. If Disney had that same program, I'm going to choose to buy it with Disney because I know I'm getting a little money back.
So as you can see, Animal Kingdom should be open later.
only because we went so far into the dungeon with that one again. Can you just give us another one of yours?
No, I don't really have any.
That was it. You prepped
You
for
were
this
supposed
whole
to do
show.
5.
Animal Kingdom.
I wrote the
Being
other
open late.
show.
I give you credit for that, but wow. Okay. Well, Derek. Okay, let's go.
Well, mine's going to be simple because I like Amy's logic. I love everybody's thoughts so far, including Jeff's. Mine is a simple one, and it's not reinventing the wheel by any stretch of the imagination. And I think now it'd be more important than ever before. Just bring back Magical Express. That's it.
Yeah.
Just bring it back. You got the buses, you got the infrastructure, you know exactly how it works. But I feel like now it's more important than ever before, because back when they had the Magical Express, they didn't have Ubers, they didn't have, Lyfts. It was like, different maybe town car services if you didn't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. But Magical Express, It's how everybody used to start their vacation, and it kept you, most importantly, in the bubble, which I think we've seen Disney making some moves right now that means more to them than ever before. Knowing what's going on down the street is keeping people in that bubble. Like, sure, can they still get an Uber and leave property? Yeah, whatever. But you know what? You just have more of an allegiance, I feel, like starting your vacation with Disney at the airport and then driven to your hotel, knowing you're basically have Disney to take you everywhere you want to go. And even if you wanted to charge for it, fine. I can't imagine Disney ever bringing it back. I think they'd be crazy to charge for it. I think if they just offered it a free service like they did before, the amount of positive press that they would get, which is something that Disney's not really used to getting all that much of lately. So, the feedback would be that, oh my God, I can't believe Disney's bringing back one of its most beloved features. And guess what? It's free. We're not charging you for it. Now, don't forget, we're still charging you for the old free fast passes, but Magical Express is now going to be free. So I would just do that. It just seems to me an absolute no-brainer to bring that back, because I just feel like it just hurts them so much in the long run, whether it's people taking Ubers. And now all of a sudden I get picked up at an Uber in the airport. Okay, yeah, now I feel comfortable. I'll just continue to call the Ubers everywhere I want to go. Or if I rent a car, okay, we'll use this car when we go to Epic on Wednesday. But if you get picked up in the Magical Express bus and the music hits and you're driven to your hotel, just bring it back. That's mine.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I do too. I've got my heart up. I don't like to agree with Derek, but he's right in this case. And in fact, one of mine was, it's not one that I'll talk about, but I'm going to talk about it. It was actually expanding that a little bit and just reintroducing the Disney bubble, which Magic Express is probably the biggest key and portion of that, but also expanding the Skyliner to Animal Kingdom and to Disney Springs and Old Key West, and offering Lightning Lane options to hotel guests, one for value, 2 for moderate, 3 for deluxe, and just keeping people, giving them a reason to stay. But yeah, Magic Express is the cornerstone of that, I think.
Yeah, and I would take this a step further too and just say, I feel like so many people fly Southwest, and I don't think that I think it's short-sighted to overlook the impact that the baggage fees that Southwest are going to start charging is going to have on people making decisions to vacation. They're going to be an impact. It's just another fee, just like Lightning Lane was another fee or something to add on this. Make a partnership with Southwest or something and say, if you fly into Orlando and you're coming to Walt Disney World, we're going to cover the baggage fee. That's pennies. That's throwaway money.
Right.
But you take away one of those barriers that people are going to consider. One of those barriers that people are going, well, can we afford the trip this year?
And honestly, like those sorts of things, I hate to say this, but they can be snuck into other costs. They can be snuck into the price of the room, and then you don't feel like you're getting nickel and dime.
It's a perceived value, yes.
A
perceived value.
Yeah, we said that about Southwest in general. You would have gotten you would have gotten less bad press if you just raised ticket prices a little bit more to absorb that cost, rather than saying, we're charging for bags now.
Right. Or take away instead of 2 free bags, just 1 free bag.
Yeah,
$25 more.
That's
where have we ever gone that we've needed 2 free bag, like 2 large checked bags? Where have we ever gone that we've needed
nowhere?
that?
We've never done that, even in long stays.
Yeah. I'm curious to ask you all. We talk parks all the time, and obviously that's where our head's at. Parks and resorts. Did any of you come up with an idea as the next CEO of Disney related to either films or Disney Plus?
Oh God,
no! I have something that is completely out of the realm of everything, but not having to do with film and TV. Yeah,
I want to go to you next on what is out of the realm of everything. But I do think it's worth mentioning. I think this has been a big area where Disney has struggled in the past few years, is trying to find identity both with what they're doing with Disney Plus, what new original programming they can bring on there that is not Marvel, that is not Star Wars, that is not one of their current IPs, and the same can be said for the box office. We could sit here and say that Toy Story 26 is going to be a wonderful movie in 2054, because that's the direction that we feel like we're on with this. Is you're either making a live action remake that tanks like Snow White did, or you're making a sequel to some movie, and does it still resonate with the audience like it did a long time ago? I don't know the answer to that question. It feels like a lot of them are going to miss. Now, that being said, I am excited for a lot of the movies that they're coming out with this summer. You know, I'm very excited for the Thunderbolts. I'm very excited for the Fantastic Four. I think those are going to be amazing films. But again, how long can we continue down this path with Marvel and Star Wars and just kind of basically trying to get every penny out of those brands as possible? So one of my ideas was to purchase another media company in some capacity. The one that came to mind was A24. A24 has been so great in coming up with original stories over the past few years. A lot of their movies have won a huge amount of awards and everything. It's a stretch, but at least it's a company. It's almost like when they bought Pixar. You looked at Pixar and you said, here's a company that has amazing original ideas, and we want those to become part of our portfolio. And they did amazing things with that. And Pixar was a great relationship. And I think Disney kind of has to make that spend right now, or find some people to come into the Disney bubble that really wants to think creatively and that really can make some original storytelling, because that then translates to the parks, because that is, you know, the driver and where so much of the IP that we see in the parks has come from, is that original storytelling. And we're just not seeing, you know, what's we mentioned this before. What was the last one that actually made a mark? You've got Moana, you've got Encanto, Frozen.
Yeah.
But, you know, those have been a little bit now.
And I don't blame them, Paul, for being scared, because when I was at Epcot during the Flower and Garden Festival, I saw they had a meet and greet with somebody, you know, a character from the movie Wish. There was like one person in line. No one even cared. Like, no one cared. So I get it. I mean, they had a lot riding on it, you know, a brand new original story with throwbacks to other movies. I thought it was a really good movie overall. I thought it was great. I mean, I didn't think it was a classic, but my God, if you have a meet and greet in the park and really like no one's waiting in line, that's when those decisions are being made. Do we do $100-200 million on a brand new idea that's completely untested? Or, like you said, do we do, you know, Thunder Marvels, and people that like those movies are going to be watching this? Like, I think of that Marvel stuff. To me, I'm so out of the loop. I remember when every Marvel was an event and it followed that timeline. It was like, oh my God, here's the next one. Here's the next one. Then, to the fault of, I think, Disney Plus, it just branched off. And now all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second. You want me to watch WandaVision has 6 episodes, and then Loki's got 37, and then there's another show with Sam Jackson doing something else. Oh, and now there's Miss Marvel and a She-Hulk and a this, and this. I'm so out of it. I'm totally lost. So, you know,
I am like Derek.
I just can't get excited because I feel like I'm the guy that's, you know, left out of like the nerd party because I haven't watched the 84 Disney Plus shows. That's it.
Agree, 100%.
You can thank that man on the screen right there for that one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Bob.
You know, this kind of goes back to what Paul said at the top of the show, which was you got to get the middlemen out of the way. I think Disney media right now, or television and film, I don't know what they actually call it, but the Disney media wing has stopped letting the storytellers be the storytellers. Yes. Disney used to be the storytelling company. They were inventing stories. And I actually think this even can be faulted to Iger on top of Chapek, is they're only willing to invest in franchises that have been proven.
Right.
And, you know, if you take a look historically, and I'm a big film buff. We've already talked about that, especially when it comes to Disney animation. I just had an argument with my best friend the other day about whether Fantasia or Pocahontas is the better movie. That's how deep into the weeds we go. My problem with Disney is they will buy a franchise and then run it into the ground. They bought Pixar, and ever since they bought Pixar, it's been really hit and miss.
Yeah.
As to what has been successful and what hasn't. Where pre-Disney buying Pixar, everything was a hit. Same thing with Star Wars. Same thing with Marvel.
Yeah.
It's too much. all the time, in your face, too much, because they're trying to do this synergy thing, which is whatever we put on the screen needs to be on TV, needs to be in the parks, needs to sell action figures and stuffed animals. I'm sorry, I don't like it. You look at Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, which is the barometer for which all theme parks are compared to. The popular rides at those parks, Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, none of those properties were based on any existing IP. They let Imagineering tell the story, which then sponsored stories for the TV and the big screen.
Yep.
Rather than, hey, what can we make on the big screen that will fit into a roller coaster or fit into a ride? Mm-hmm. They need to get the hell out of the way and let the storytellers do what they do best. That's why A24 is doing so well. That's why pre-Disney Star Wars did so well. You look at all the things that Disney just jettisoned when they bought it. All the comic books, all the novels, all the cartoons that George Lucas himself had a hand in. Those were the trilogies that I wanted as a Star Wars fan that Disney just, not only did they ignore, but they unceremoniously swept under the rug. Oh, we're going to do our thing because we got to build a theme park around it. We got to build a Star Wars land, and we got to get 3 movies out in 4 years. So I don't know. They got to get the middlemen out of the way and let the storytellers do their job.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Mm-hmm.
Panda, anything else hits your list as the next CEO?
Yeah, I would take the Disney app, the My Disney experience, and explode it and build it from the ground up with a bunch of people's inputs that really use it. I just think it was probably good when they first designed it, and then it just branched off into a lot of bad things, especially the friends and family profile thing. I don't want to see pictures of people that I met 20 days ago that I'm not with just because they're sharing their stuff with me. I don't want my nephew, who I am going with, to be able to cancel our hotel reservation that I made. I don't understand I just don't get it. And I would redo the app. I think it's just hard to get to everything, especially if you're not used to it.
Oh man, there are no truer words spoken, because I'll go in to make a park reservation. Just a park reservation with my annual pass. I'm scrolling past Paul and Amy and Jeff and Dan and people that I went to Disney World with 17 years ago. And that's a good
I don't
call.
get it. I wish you could just show me my stuff right now. I look at it, I'm like, I made a reservation for this restaurant. No way. Who is this? You don't even, when it says sometimes you have a park reservation, you have to dig deep to find out who is it for. And then you can go and cancel it and cancel other people's, and they have no idea that you're doing that.
It's also so hard when you link with someone, and I feel like by default, photo sharing should be turned off and you can turn it on, but it's the complete opposite. So the immediate moment that you link with that person, you have every photo that they've taken at Disney World in the past year, and it's such a process to turn it off. That finally you're just like, oh, forget about it. And then I'll just send Jeff the random photo that he took at Epcot 5 minutes after he takes it and be like, having fun at Epcot?
Because you have to get the other person to turn it off so that you're not getting their stuff.
Yeah. It's so...
And then let's say it's the morning for you to get your fast passes. If that little box doesn't show up for some reason, good luck searching for where you gotta go. Good luck.
And we've praised Epic and Universe so much, but please don't talk to the people at Universal when you fix this app, because they don't have it. They don't have it.
That app is also as bad.
That app just needs burned in a dumpster.
Their app is terrible. Their virtual queue system at least Disney's virtual queue system has been working. They've mastered that better than Universal.
And their mobile order's been okay with Disney as long as you find what you want, but that's another thing. They can make it a little easier, but it's okay.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh, I'm excited.
Panda said it.
Here we go.
CEO Amy, go ahead.
I'm so tired of the pared down, basic, 4-choice menus at every restaurant.
More sandwiches?
No, they just need, there's more, there used to be a lot more variety and a lot more options and a lot more unique dishes. And everything since the pandemic has gotten really, really, just the menus are so small,
Yep.
and there's just not a lot of variety.
Yeah.
You
know what
like-
I
like
mean?
There was a time. Remember, there was a time where you could get different French fries at different places,
Yeah.
and now
Oh,
it just
absolutely.
seems it's all the same. I
And-
get
Waffle
it.
fries.
I have nothing against plant-based options, but when they take up like a fourth of the menu, and then
I agree.
I'm left with less.
There's an attorney somewhere that is the
If-
reason that's occurring. I can guarantee.
Yeah.
Like, yes, have those options, but
Some of the best
Have
food I've
more.
had at Food and Wine the past few years has been plant-based options.
yeah, they
I'm
they
not-
took some of that away too.
They did, yeah. Well, that's because the Impossible sponsorship that was making the money off of it
They
expired.
just the menus. If you go to a Disney restaurant, the options, and this is pretty much every Disney restaurant now. The menu is very small when you compare it to any other restaurant.
Yeah.
Most places.
Agreed.
There's
Yeah.
not options, and there's not unique options really anymore.
No, and I don't think we're expecting like a Cheesecake Factory style menu.
Right.
Right,
You don't
right,
need 10 pages.
It's literally one sheet. You're exactly right. The
Cheesecake
liquor's on the back, the food's on the front. That's all it is. Desserts
Right.
on the bottom. Yeah, it's silly. I agree. Hey, can I touch on just one? Because if I was a CEO after I brought back Magical Express, I would sit down with the Disney Vacation Club folks, and I would ask the Disney Vacation Club folks, or maybe tell them, because I'm the CEO. I would say, whose dog is that? That would be my first.
Our dog is
Who
not
brought a
enjoying
dog to
whatever
the
you
meeting?
have to say right now. We apologize.
great.
Barking at the
He's,
door.
He's barking.
Be like, I'm the CEO. You brought a dog to our meeting? What is possibly wrong with you? I would have a meeting with the DVC folks, and I really would tell them and say, enough of this direct versus resale nonsense. Take away any of these restrictions that you guys are doing, because I think it's hurting. I mean, I think there's no doubt that it hurts Disney direct sales. So I would really try to say, listen, you got to plus up your reasons why I would pay more to buy direct. That's fine. But don't penalize those people with these dumb resale restrictions that when they do go to sell their membership, many times they don't realize that the value of what they just bought, i.e. Riviera, has just dropped by like $100 per point. So enough. Take away the restrictions like, oh, I bought direct, I get this, or I bought resale, I can't stay at this resort, or I can't do that. Enough. Because once you're in the club, once you're a member, everybody uses the same member website, everybody uses the same phone number, and guess what? The money you spend when you're on property is exactly the same whether you bought direct or whether you bought resale. So if you want to plus up what you get when you buy direct with Disney, if that's going to be, hey, you get, free Genie Plus for a year, or you get free Disney Plus for a year, that's fine. But just get away with the resale restrictions of there's two camps. I can use my points here. I can't use them there. Forget it. Just, that's it. And no more dogs invited to the meeting. That's it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Derek on that one, because they've just created a class system and a problem that it's so easy to fix. I feel like that they just, I don't know, like you said, Derek, plus up the direct benefits so that it gives people incentive if that's the route they want to go. But points are points, and money spends the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like they've almost hurt the product over the year more than they've
Right.
intended to.
Yeah.
They keep viewing it as, I think, what is good for us to sell more direct points, and that's the only question that they're asking. But they're not looking. Again, we've said this before. It's the short-sightedness of the product.
Yeah.
It's the short-sightedness of what gets us to that bonus this year and what helps us meet that quota. But it's not looking at the long-term effects that this is going to cause. And it's just they need to be asking those questions. They need to be asking those questions to people and how they affect the product.
And I'm sure, Paul, like we've talked about countless times, I'm sure in these meetings that they have before they came up with the restrictions, they thought and said, it'd be perfect. Yeah, let's just tell them that, hey, if you buy resale, blah, 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 you can't use it to stay at any of the... And that was probably fine for like the first week. But then once people started doing research into it and they reach out to us and they go, wait a second. So if I buy direct with you guys, I could still use it the same way, the same website at 14 of the original DVC resort. Oh, so I just can't use it, say, at the time. Riviera, that's it? that's the only difference? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and I'll buy a resale. Like, I'm sure it sounded good on paper to put these scary restrictions on it, but it winds up hurting the people that bought with you to begin with, that paid you direct prices. You're hurting them more than you're hurting the resale market. That's it.
Well, it kind of defeats the whole timeshare purpose of it. Can you imagine if RCI or Wyndham or anybody else did the same thing? Oh, you can only use your points at the Grandview in Vegas. Even if they did something like, okay, well, direct owners are 11 months and then everybody else is at 7. Then if you're a resale owner, maybe you only get access at 3 months or 5 months or something like that if they wanted to differentiate for some reason. But just to say, no, you only get to book at Riviera forever.
It hurts.
Just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Well, we joked at the top of this show. Panda said that he could talk about this for 7.5 hours himself.
We could do a part 2 easily to this show.
Well, and that's exactly where we're going to go, because I think it's also worth talking about you all and what you all think you would do as the next CEO of Disney. And so let us know in the comments of this video, what would you change? What would be the first thing that you would do, or one of the first things that you would do as the next CEO of Disney? We're going to loop back around to this topic in a couple of weeks, because I know all of us have a couple more ideas up our sleeves, but we're also going to share and talk through some of the ones. Well, you can come up with some more, Jeff. But we'll talk through some of the ones that you came up as well, because I think I guarantee you our very, very intelligent DVC fan audience is going to have some great ideas as well. So make sure you put them in the comments of this video or get involved in the conversation over in the DVC fan Facebook group. I realized I hadn't mentioned this group enough recently, because we mentioned it on a recent show and we got a huge number of people that joined us. We have a Facebook group. It's on Facebook. That's a website that even Derek knows how to operate. Facebook.com/DVC fan.
And we talk to you.
Oh, Amy's back, by the way. She let the dogs outside because they were angry at Derek about whatever he was rambling on about. They actually like resale restrictions, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we engage with you all. So Facebook.com, head to the group section, look up DVC fan. It is a private group, so you do have to answer a couple questions because we want to keep, the trolls out and all that kind of fun stuff. But we do have some fun conversation in there. So we'll take your comments over there as what you would do for the next CEO of Disney, and also in the comments of this video. And we will loop back around to this topic in a few weeks. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next Monday.